both just have enormous respect for each other.
What gladiator has that same striped spear
Look, the judges are nodding. Even the Egyptian judge is impressed.
Until recently, you claimed that the earth revolved around the sun.
Welcome to History Bites. I'm Rick Green. Did you ever have an argument with someone where both of you are absolutely sure that you're right and neither of you will budge? And each of you has been elected to head up the church, and both of you live in palaces with a collection of cardinals and thousands of followers? Well, that's just what happened 600 years ago. Only in this case, the bickering couple were two popes. That's right, two popes. Naturally, the whole mess was sorted out in the most appropriate way for two men of God, a campaign of public mudslinging. So, let's go back to Europe in 1409. After all, there's only one place to hear holier-than-thou figures insulting each other in public: the television.
For June 26, 1409, this is the Italian News Network. Good evening. Our lead story tonight is the split in the church. For nearly 4 decades now, two popes have both claimed leadership of the church. Well, today in Italy, a dramatic new development. A council of cardinals has announced that they have a way to end the split. We go now to Koki Oreo for this live update.
Thanks, Peter. As you can see behind me, I'm in Pisa this evening, where the Church Council has ended its session with the stunning announcement that it has reached a solution to the church crisis. And what is that solution? At this hour, we have no idea.
Koki, I see the Leaning Tower of Pisa is behind you. Is that where the council met?
No, Peter, they met somewhere else, in a different building, which they have, in any case, left. But we felt it was important to bring you this report live from the streets of Pisa, where, even as I speak, nothing at all is happening.
Thank you, Koki.
You're welcome, Peter.
Koki Oreo there, reporting live from the streets of Pisa. We'll be back to Koki as events or time to fill warrant. Now, turning to other news on the traffic...
Trampled to death is correct. You have control of the board, Jane.
I'll pick household architecture for 100, please, Alex.
The poor man's chimney. Jane.
What are cracks between the walls and the roof?
Yes, lets the smoke out. Pick again.
Right now, I'm here in Rome, talking with Pope Gregory XII.
It's good to be here, Larry.
Let's talk about that anti-pope thing. You say that Benedict is the anti-pope. Benedict says that you are. How does that make you feel?
It hurts to be called the anti-pope by a guy who really is the anti-pope. It's bad. I don't ask for a lot, Larry, but I do insist on respect.
Well, sure.
And a palace and gold and a lot of soldiers and servants.
Benedict has said some pretty nasty things about you. He's hurled a barrage of cheap insults about you in public.
Larry, the reputation of the church has been seriously harmed by this ridiculous debate. Mm-hmm. I, for one, am not going to stoop to his level. I'm an educated man. I speak 30 languages.
Well,
I'd like to use some of those languages to insult him now.
no, go ahead.
Benedict, you're a morceau de merde.
Oh, my.
Yes, you're a Schweinhund, a bastardo. Your sister is a...
Do my shopping by standing at my door and buying things from the peddlers who pass by. Everything from oyster and asparagus to sheet music and sex.
I'm joined now by the Pope, or some would say anti-Pope, Benedict XIII. Good evening, your pontificance.
Yo, that's Benny XIII. And if Gregory's listening, that's X for excommunicate. And that's what I've done to that vicar of bouts and his cardinals of Synne. He ain't no pope. He's a man without hope on the slippery slope. He's a guy whose church is in the lurch.
Wow.
Your mother wears butos de militarios.
Wait a second.
You're a sletning schlavazler, a stupiski idiotski.
All right.
You're a boring amendment with a ridiculous nose.
Number 7, we have a spare in case the other one goes flat. And number 6, can subsidize church income with Doublemint gum commercials. Number 5 advantage to having two popes, win bets with double-headed pope coins.
4 can wave to both sides of the street from the Pope Mobile. And number 3, they can keep each other company and take turns running on the Pope wheel. Number 2, build world peace by loaning the spare Pope to the Jews. And the number 1 advantage of having 2 popes, twice as much papal bull. There you go.
This battle for papal power was also fueled by patriotism. Italians wanted an Italian pope in Rome. The French liked the idea of a French pope ruling from France. There's nothing like that good old down-home religion.
Maybe you could explain how this split in the church began. If I understand right, a few years ago, all the popes had their palace in Avignon, France.
Well, sure, Avignon, France. It's the land of the lands where the minstrels sing and the ladies dance. And those French inventions, the fries, the toast, the kissing. As you know, Ted, I'm from Spain originally, but I love France. Don't know what the Pope back then was thinking when he left for Rome.
Well, they do say all roads lead to Rome.
Yeah, but who wants to live in a place full of roads?
I just want to say that I think you're the Pope and Benedict's the anti-Pope because you're in Rome and he's not. He's in Avignon. Rome is where the Pope has been since Jesus appointed him.
Thanks. This raises a good point, Larry. I've always believed when you're dealing in events on the spiritual plane, location.
And Rome is one violent city. That's how this mess started. When I was there in 78, we was trying to vote for a pope, and we had Italian mobs telling us, you give us an Italian pope, or we'll give you an all-expenses-paid trip to heaven. But we knew what we had to do.
So you gave them an Italian pope?
No, we gave them a trick pope, a joke pope. They just haven't got the papal punchline yet. That was never meant to be a real pope. That's why we elected another one when we gone home. And after he died, I got pontificated.
After all, only a few years ago, the popes were living in Avignon, France. Why is Rome so special?
Why Rome? It's because Rome is where the Pope... is where the Vatican... You see, Jesus was born in Rome.
What?
Obviously not born in Rome. When Jesus was crucified, he looked in the direction of Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate was from Rome.
Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate, he had close contact with our Lord Jesus Christ.
Yes, he had him whipped, then crucified.
Physical contact, you see, and Pontius Pilate was in the Bible, and he was from Rome, not France.
3 blind kids, 3 blind kids. They were blinded for stealing food.
One question I know many of our viewers are wondering, what about that tower? Is it still falling over?
Well, Peter, that's what I'm hearing from the people I've talked to.
Is it possible the Leaning Tower plays some part in the solution to the church crisis?
That's a good question, Peter. No.
And if he was here now, I'd say, Benedict, time to bury your head. Your brain is dead.
Okay.
He's a few stitches short of a tapestry, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
Catapult short of a siege.
Yeah.
A few leeches short of a bleeding.
Okay, let's go to our callers.
There's a few objects short of the number of those objects required for the completion of some state or task normally carried out with those objects.
All right.
When we come back, power, profit, and popularity. The Pope was the most powerful person in medieval Europe. If a pope excommunicated a king or noble, their political career was over. On the flip side, the Pope's approval could boost a noble's position. If a prince wanted to make a strategic alliance by, say, marrying his 6-year-old cousin, the Pope could give a dispensation that would make it nice and legal. Naturally, the Pope charged a pretty penny for those kind of favors, and that helped support the lavish papal lifestyle. But with 2 competing popes on the scene, the nobles found themselves in a much better position. Now they could shop around and buy their salvation at wholesale prices.
First a boobo. Okay, what else is in the news?
This church conference in Pisa has spent the past few months trying to decide which pope is the real Catholic kahuna. And they can't decide between French and Italian. I could understand if it was restaurants, but both sides are serving the same wine and crackers, fellas. No, I don't want to get off on a rant here, but with everyone saying that 2 popes is one too many, I'm wondering if the same is true of 1 pope. No. Stick with me on this bit of damnable sacrilege, okay? I'm not saying the Pope doesn't have his uses. Just ask his girlfriends. But, or say, just for instance, you've recently murdered your dad, and you need a note from the Papa Doc to say it's okay and you can go back to Sunday school now.
So remember, let the pustule pop on its own.
To help you remember, here's a song about the plague.
Now, I understand that you had to leave France recently.
Yeah, the anti-pope over in Rome, he tried to siege me. So I says, see ya.
Do you miss your palace?
Well, sure, my papal pad had everything. Tapestries, frescoes, gardens, birds, fire traps, murder holes, and boiling oil.
Boiling oil?
They don't call my people friars for nothing, Ted.
You've been on the run since then, traveling all over Europe by ship.
On the run? I ain't been on the run. I'm Benedict XII. I'm Pope of the Sea and I'm Pope of the Sky. My terrain is the Mediterranean. And when I'm on the sea, it's the Holy See.
What are daub and wattle?
That's correct. Still your board.
I'll take household architecture for 300, please, Alex.
When a merchant moves, he takes these valuable luxuries along. Jane.
What are the windows?
Correct.
But now we have a pope and an anti-pope. Exactly what happens if these two meet, huh? Do they annihilate each other in a flash of goodness? Or do the 2 popes cancel each other out to make one big nope? Of course, there's no risk of that because these 2 are busy excreting new cardinals and excommunicating the other guys to meet face to face, huh? At last count, each side had enough red pointy hats to destroy the world 6 times over. Yeah, mutually assured damnation.
Like Pope Gregory, the one true pope.
How can you be sure that Pope Gregory is the one true pope?
Well, I think I know something about these matters. I am a cardinal.
And you were made a cardinal by Pope Gregory?
Right. You see, only a real pope can make someone a cardinal.
But if Pope Gregory isn't a real pope, then you aren't a real cardinal.
Caller, what is your question for Pope Gregory?
Hi, Gregory. We all know you're the papal prince of put-downs, especially when it comes to that anti-pope. But what about other issues? I mean, could you come up with some zealous singers for Larry there? I mean, he's handy.
That's a challenge. I mean, where do I start? No, on second thought, where do I stop? I mean, take those glasses. Larry, with eyes like yours, do you really want to make them look smaller? Oh, I've seen shinier eyes on ice at the fishmonger. You're trying to catch flies with that tongue, Larry?
Throughout the Middle Ages, things had been pretty clear-cut. God spoke through the Pope, and the Pope told the kings what to do. But when people were faced with 2 popes, or depending on your point of view, 2 anti-popes, this nice, neat medieval world was suddenly a lot more complicated. People had to make decisions, they had to think. And as you can imagine, too much thinking led to trouble.
Okay, we used to love Gregory, but now we love Benedict. He's cool.
Yeah, like he's totally like, you know, like the most mysterious underdog. You know, like you just totally want to mother him.
Which one do I like? Well, it doesn't matter which one I like or what anyone likes. It's God's choice. You know, I say let the 2 popes go to war and then let the God guy win.
He's cute and vulnerable.
Venerable.
Venerable. We love you, Benedict. We love you. We love you.
I like the tall one.
You mean Pope Benedict?
Sure.
You mentioned earlier that this ongoing verbal battle between rival popes is damaging the prestige and the dignity of the church.
It's a real issue, Larry. Yeah. And I know I have done everything I can to uphold the sanctity of this office. But that other guy, Benedict, what's he all about, huh? Yeah. I mean, the belly's burning fuel, but the chimney's clogged.
Oh, here we go again.
There's no grain in that silo. He's thicker than a marble column.
What are your ideas for ending it?
Just give me Gregory in chains and I'll end it. I'll hang him high, Pope on a rope, then I'll burn his holy honey, snap, crackle, and poop.
Do you think this schism, this dispute, is harming the image of the church?
No, I don't see that at all.
We asked Italians to try these two brands of holy water. One has been blessed by Benedict XIII, the other was blessed by the regular Pope. Which one did you like best?
Oh, definitely this one. Yeah, it was great. It felt very holy.
Wow.
His holy water's just better. You know, like, more sacred.
Spiritually refreshing.
Real heavenly.
Would you be surprised to hear that you picked Benedict XIII?
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
I have no idea.
And it costs less, so I'm getting real savings and getting saved.
Will you be switching?
I think I'll be relying a lot more on Benedict XIII for all my poping needs.
Take the Pope-C challenge and decide for yourself which one is the anti-Pope.
Or how about just Pope expensive? Let's face it, the average European king is making less money than Cardinal Baldessari pulls in brothel taxes. So you know what? The more I talk about it, the more I like it. 2 popes. Why not go one step further and have 2 gods? Yeah, amigos. And then get ready for the tag team match of the millennium, huh? But that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Especially if you threaten to burn me for it.
More and more people are calling for both the current popes to quit. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm all for the other guy quitting.
But you plan to stick around.
Hey, Ted, is the Pope Spanish?
Coming up on History Bites, money can't buy you happiness, but it will pay for your ticket to heaven. In the 1400s, some of the Pope's income came from the sale of indulgences, official church certificates that forgave you certain sins. The bigger the sin, the more expensive the indulgence. Believe it or not, it was actually said that with the right indulgence, a man could rape the Virgin Mary and still get into heaven. With sinners like that in heaven, you got to wonder about the safety of gated communities. In the violent world of the 15th century, many powerful people were going crazy to get forgiveness. Others were just going crazy.
King Charles, before we begin, there have been some ugly rumors floating around about your mental state.
Right.
Some people call you Charles the Well-Beloved, but to others, you're Charles the Mad.
I don't know what crazy is, Larry. I mean, aren't we all a little crazy?
Very true. King Charles, you've changed sides several times in this debate. First you supported Pope Benedict, then you withdrew your support. Now, after last year's negotiations failed, you say you're neutral. What's behind all this? Chicken. Hen. Fowl. You're crying foul about the church's strategy.
We interrupt this program for a Church News special report. A startling announcement from Pisa. In a press conference convened just a few moments ago, the council announced that the 2 existing popes have been fired. For the details, we go now to Koki Oreo, who's in Pisa.
Peter, the council announced that they have fired both the existing popes, Gregory and Benedict, on the grounds that they are both heretics.
Did they give any details?
Yes, Peter. According to the council, Benedict is in league with the devil and keeps 2 demons in his purse. Nobody has seen them, but of course, they must be there because he does magic.
What about the other Pope, Gregory?
Well, the council has said that he's also a heretic because, according to testimony, his doctor practices black magic.
Well, you have to ask, in this day and age, is that really so bad?
The doctor is also a Jew.
Well, now that is bad.
They went on to say...
If I can just interrupt you, Koki, I'm getting word in that representatives of the council are about to make a second announcement, so we are going to go live to that coverage now.
Earlier, we announced that we had fired both of the existing popes. Unfortunately, as somebody pointed out, that then left us popeless. So, we have decided to elect a new pope. Yes, I know. This is an important decision and not an easy one to make. There are so many qualified candidates. Peter of Candia, Pope Cardinal Baldassare, the pirate Cosa, and I could go on. And the winner is Peter of Candia, Pope Alexander V. Five, V.
And they have chosen Peter of Candia. This is truly a rags to riches story. He was found as an orphan in Crete and has worked his way up through the church. Well, here you have it, a new pope to replace the current two. And for a reaction to this news, we go to Pope Benedict XIII in Avignon, France. Hello, Pope Benedict.
Yo, this is Benedict XII. How you doing, Pete?
Fine, thank you. What's your reaction to this evening's announcement?
Well, Pete, I would urge anti-Pope Gregory to abdicate right away and get behind this new anti-Pope. Because one Pope and two anti-Popes, that's just way too much. Pope.
So you're not planning to abdicate yourself?
No, don't be a clown. Benedict XII ain't skipping town. I'll be sticking around.
Okay, let's go now to Pope Gregory in Rome. Pope Gregory, you heard the speech. What do you think?
Well, Peter, he's a good choice. Pope Alexander is a party pope, a pious pope, a people pope. I'd be happy to see him as my replacement when I pass on.
But you're not planning to abdicate.
Abdicate to that guy? Did you see him over there? He's been chewing tobacco and spitting upwind. Boy, that guy's a disgrace to the uniform. And goop all over his cross. He was walking like a monkey.
So there you have it. The crisis of the church being led by two popes is officially over. From this point on, the church will be led by 3 popes.
This three-way split dragged on for another 20 years. During that time, church leaders included a pirate pope, a hidden pope, and a pope that kept on ruling even after he was dead. Officials tried every reasonable means to end the split, from a reasonable amount of bribery to a reasonable amount of poison. Finally, the Emperor Sigismund used his military power to pressure the anti-popes to quit. But by that time, the reputation of the church and the pope had suffered badly. The pope had become weaker, the kings had become stronger, and many people were thinking seriously about church reform. You see, sometimes history is written by the victors, not the vicars, and history bites.
A symbol, perhaps, of the church's drama. Or like the tower, the church leans heavily in one direction. Just which direction the church council is leaning, we still don't know. But unlike the tower, the church has come down hard, taking a stand that, like the tower, stands still, ever leaning.
Thank you, Koki.
You're welcome, Peter.
Goodbye.
Back to you, Peter.
Take care now.
See ya.